the next war which we are looking at, it may happen soon. As far as whole of nation approach will be there for the next war, it is not the military alone which will be fighting. This we have to fight this battle together. This now non-kinetic has to be fought together. Merchants today which are part of the battlefield, whether Starlink, Apple and so on and so forth. Of course we have the citizen soldiers, and I must tell you, when Kargil happened, the citizen soldiers were prominent. We had the shepherd who told us that where the intruders are, and the last Chief Justice of Jammu and Kashmir, Mr. Tashi, he himself galvanized the locals and himself carried the ammunition for the troops during the Kargil war. So what I am saying, citizen soldiers are omnipresent, and any kind of information which they have, if they give us, for example, drones, as you see where the drones are flying, so that if it is put in the app, it helps us knowing that whether it's our drone, whose drone, and this kind of a thing we have tried in the Amarnath Yatra recently in J&K. And if it becomes successful, we'll develop it more, and with the kind of intelligence which is sitting here, definitely we'll be able to make it more, if I can say that, fail-safe proof. Of course, the Guardian Force is concerned, this is the invisible, if I can say that, the non-kinetic handlers. And this is where you all come into play in a big way. Because today war has four quadrants. I will not have time to explain the four quadrants, but the non-kinetic quadrant is something which you can start today. And the next war which we are looking at, it may happen soon, and we have to prepare accordingly, as already been brought out by Director, that in this we have to fight this battle together. This now non-kinetic has to be fought together. So what are the deductions? That as far as whole of nation approach will be there for the next war, it is not the military alone which will be fighting. Let me assure you very clearly in this issue. As far as the grey zone is concerned, it's ever present, and this will remain. As for the multi-domain, cyber, cognitive and space, these are the new terms which are coming in, and these are the new terms we need to learn more from you. We can tell you what do we want and what do we need to counter, but how, when, why is something you need to give us the answer. Atmanirbharta. Atmanirbharta, it's a long-term thing. Presently, whatever technology is being imported from outside and being called as Atmanirbharta, definitely it has a hidden cost. We are ready to pay more cost if it's purely made in India, because then we know that we can change it, we can modify it, we can upgrade it. That is the biggest advantage. That is what we are looking at, in-house technology. And as far as collaborative and synergistic is concerned, that means intra and inter. Because today, for example, we do not know what is happening on the Pak Western Front. But this information, when we have the exchange of intelligence with our neighbors on the other side, we'll definitely get to know which are the troops which are moving in what places. So what I am saying, that interconnections are also equally important, which we call collaborative. And these collaborative will also, after some time, will go to the satellites and so many other agencies which are there, which are meant for commercial purposes, but can also be used for the defense purposes. And if a synergistic approach is concerned, within us, that is the tri-services, NTRO, and so many other agencies which are there. So finally, if I look at that, India is facing a 2.5 front, and if it is facing the land borders, then keeping in with the psyche of the people in India today, currency of victory will remain as. When you go for such kind of offensives, what happens? You need to always look at what the other side is thinking and how this chess is going to get played. So what we did, we created a red team. So this time what we did differently, as far as Uri, you are aware that it was a 2016, it was a shallow thrust, and it was launch pad we were looking at. It is basically to convey a message. As for Balakot in 2019, we were looking at penetrating through J&K, going across to training camps which are in Pakistan, and again a kind of giving a punishment. But this time I think that is Pahalgam 25, it was wide and deep where we hit the heartland. This was the first time we hit the heartland, and of course our target was the nursery and the masters. And like I told you, and this has never been done, and even Pakistan was not expecting that the heartland will be hit, and that's what came as a shocker to them. But were we prepared for it? Yes, we were prepared for it to absorb the blowback which will come up. So finally we chose 5 targets in Jammu and Kashmir and 4 targets in Punjab, and out of which 2 were with the Air Force, because the kind of ammunition which was required was much more, and at such a long range, if you have to send it, then the options are either with the Army, Navy, Air Force, long-range weapons, or with the Air Force. So we decided to go with the Air Force, and it helped us because thereafter all the kind of, if I can say that the rebounds which were taking place or the blowbacks which were taking place, but what is important, it was a new normal. It was a new normal where our forces were always prepared for a conventional operations. So though we were trying last 1 year that what is grey zone and what is multi-domain operations, but people were still not ready for it. But this is the time that our ground forces were actually playing chess. How many were going forward? How many were staying back? How many were moving somewhere else? So this kind of a chess move was there. So in this chessboard of 64, something was visible, something was not visible. And something which was not visible, maybe other countries may be helping out to kind of make them visible for the adversary. So the force, if you have to kind of look at force orchestration for a military man, it comes in 3 forms. And all these 3 forms you will play a role. Firstly is the force visualization. How he is going to employ his force, how am I going to employ his force, how it will be 2nd day, 3rd day, 4th day, 10th day, 15th day, because you don't know. Because this test match stopped in 4th days. And it could have continued for 14 days also, 140 days also, 1400 days also, we don't know. So we have to be prepared for those kind of things. Second is force preservation. Force preservation is important because you have to live to fight another day and you have to kill the other person. That's what is your job. Not to lay down your life unnecessarily. It is to make sure the other person lays down his life and he feels happy about it. And you feel happy by facilitating that. So if that be the case, so force preservation becomes important and it has a major role. When we talk about the various drillings which are required to be done in the mountains and so many bunkers of different kind which are required to be made, and if I can say the preemptive actions which are required to be taken, and the third one is application, force application. So these are the 3 domains which we look at as a military man, and this is what something I will just give the amalgam of some issues that how we went about and where your role comes in. So I will just talk about the technology and ops Sindoor. So firstly, let me assure you, it was a whole of nation approach and the collaboration was there. Was it in conjunction with other nations?